Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank both of you for your service. You and the President have made a very strong case that ISIL, if left unchecked, will be a threat to Europe and to the United States, and they are attracting recruits from all over the world, including the United States. General Dempsey, you noted that as we were looking at that map, what looks like territorial gains by ISIL is really a tribal by tribal overcoming. So my question to you, General Dempsey, is how important is it, even as we are asked to provide the authorization to arm and equip the Free Syrian Army, how important is it that we work with the Sunni tribal leaders to enable them to fight off ISIL in both Syria and Iraq?
It's absolutely an integral part of the campaign plan.
So what exactly are we doing, working with the Sunni tribal leaders to enable them to fend off ISIL?
This is probably requires the integration of several things. I mentioned already the fact that the Iraqi government has to demonstrate that it actually cares about the Sunni tribes and not just fence them off in Al-Anbar province. That's one line of effort. The other is the effort of John Allen as he goes forward, using some of his previous relationships to meet with the tribal leaders and begin the formation of a national guard for Al-Anbar province. And then I think it'll be a matter of regional partners who have Sunni governments providing some of the, maybe most actually, of the funding and materiel support to that organization.
Do you see evidence that this kind of effort is working, that these tribal leaders that have been marginalized or excluded are now going to trust what we're doing?
I can't make that report yet, Senator. What I will tell you is that while ISIL was making these broad sweeping movements across Iraq, many of the Sunni tribes completely got discouraged and wanted to be for what was going to happen. They didn't feel like they had any reason or capability to stand up to ISIL. Now that the momentum has been slowed, it hasn't been stopped and it hasn't been reversed, but it's been slowed. And we did see today, actually, an ISF unit moving south of Baghdad near Juf al-Suqr for the first movement south of Baghdad. Now, all of a sudden, we're getting tribal leaders reaching out saying, okay, if you're going to be serious about this, then we'll talk to you. So I think it was a necessary first step that we showed them we really were serious.
There were some earlier questions about concerns being raised about the Free Syrian Army that has been fighting Assad, and what makes us believe that when we train and equip them, that they will turn their attention to fighting ISIL. Do we have some kind of an agreement with the 5,000 forces, Syrian Army forces, that we are going to vet and train? That do we have some kind of an agreement that says you will fight ISIL and you're not going to be fighting Assad?
No, we do not have any agreements at all because we haven't begun the recruiting effort. We don't have the authority to begin, so we haven't really done anything but come up with a concept.
Let's say that you do get the authority, then what kind of terms would you put forth to enable us as much as possible? We realize there are risks here to have us conclude that the people we are recruiting are actually going to fight ISIL and not Assad.
Well, the important part of an overt program is we'll link it to a political structure over which we will have a certain amount of influence because of their dependence upon us for supplies, ammunition, and so forth. As well as the fact that the regional partners in particular, I think, as long as if the regional partners believe we're just going to ignore Assad and just leave him there in perpetuity, then we're going to have a problem with building a coalition. But we can, it seems to me, coalesce around the idea that ISIL is the immediate threat and therefore should be addressed first.
And of course, there is the question of what is Assad going to be doing while the Free Syrian Army is busy attacking ISIL. There are a lot of complexities involving Syria. Secretary Hagel, We know that ISIL is attracting recruits from all over the world, including from the United States. And I note in your testimony that you said that the Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security have launched an initiative to partner with local communities to counter extremist recruiting. Can you talk a little bit more about what this constitutes, what this initiative is all about?
First, thank you for pointing that out, because it's, as I noted in one of my earlier answers, it's a very important component of the overall strategy here to deal with ISIL. Since I'm not involved in that part of the strategy and the operations, I can't go too deep into how they're doing it exactly. But the point being is to enlist local communities, law enforcement, awareness of who's in their communities, who's coming in and out of their communities, just be more alert of things that are out there that will help our Homeland Security people, our law enforcement individuals be more aware of things that may be occurring, shouldn't occur, and then also working with our international partners as we trade information on individuals who are flowing in and out of these countries. We know, as you have mentioned, and I think Marty mentioned and I mentioned, that there are thousands of Europeans that we know are in Syria and the Middle East, and these people all have passports which allow them access to our country, to different countries in the world. So it's a combination of using those sources and coordinating that effort.